try that again. Good evening, everyone. We will now need a motion to come out of closed session.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to come out of closed session.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Stacy, will you do a roll call vote, please?
Yes, ma'am. A roll call vote is being called to certify that to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempt from open meeting requirements under the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed session were heard, discussed, or considered during the closed session. Vicky Hart, District 1.
Aye.
Susan Smith, District 2.
Aye.
Jean Wade, District 3.
Aye.
James Taylor, District 4.
Aye.
Michelle Ward, District 5.
Aye. All right. Again, I'm going to remind all board members to please make sure your cell phones are put away during our meeting in an effort to follow our policies and the recommendations from the governor. Thank you very much for adhering to that. At this time, we will have the pledge and please stand for the invocation.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you'll remain standing for just a moment, let's have a moment of silence for the student's family who passed away this week. Heavenly Father, as we begin this portion of the meeting this evening, our hearts are heavy. And so we pray your grace, we pray your comfort of those in this family that we remember this evening. We also pray, Father, for wisdom and guidance, and that you would help us as we take care of this school board's business this evening. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right, at this time, we need an approval of the agenda. As
Madam-
presented, yes.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now to close session action items, please.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to affirm the recommendation in student disciplinary hearing case
I'll do that.
25.72051136.26.
All in favor? So I have a second, sorry.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Compulsory attendance.
That would be me. Madam Chair, to enter into closed session to discuss exemption from compulsory attendance for student KD FY 26-7 as authorized by Section 2.2-3711A2 of the Code of Virginia 1950 as amended.
Do I have a second?
Second.
And those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Personnel docket.
To enter into closed session to discuss appointments, retirements, status changes, and resignations of specific school board employees as authorized by Section 2.2-3711A1 of the Code of Virginia 1950 as amended.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye.
Madam Chair, was that motion to approve it?
Yes, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
All right. Would you please do a roll call vote on that, please?
Okay, approval of the personnel document?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Vicky Hurt, District 1.
Aye.
Susan Smith, District 2.
Aye.
Jeannie Wade, District 3.
Aye.
James Taylor, District 4.
Aye.
Michelle Ward, District 5.
No.
Right. Now, the disposition of the Pocahontas Landmark Center.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to appeal the county building official denial of permit 742-2025 with the county's local board of building code appeals.
Do I have a second?
Madam Chair, I'll second.
All right. Would you do a roll call vote on that, please?
Yes, ma'am. Vicky Burke, District 1.
I have a point of contention right here. I don't think that was a complete statement of the action that we're voting on.
I think that's it.
That's it. Do you want us to vote on more?
Could you restate that, please?
Sure. I said I make a motion to appeal the county building official denial of permit 742-2025 with the county's local board of building code appeals.
Okay.
Vicky Burke, District 1.
No.
Susan Smith, District 2.
Yes.
Jeannie Wade, District 3.
Yes.
James Taylor, District 4.
Yes.
Michelle Ward, District 5.
No.
All right. In addition to the action on the PLC, I would like to propose the following action. And, Board, I will need you to make a motion on this when I get done. I would like to make the motion to put this issue on the ballot for the next school board and Board of Supervisors election to renovate or to demolish. This will give each voter the opportunity to speak, representing their individual thoughts. In the meantime, I propose that the school board chair and superintendent, along with the Board of Supervisor chair and county administrator, work to make something good come out of the situation that has been created. Within the information shared by the county administrator, called SCAP, S-C-A-P, School Construction Assistance Program. This is the grant source that has been talked about and mentioned at several of the meetings. There are specific guidelines laid out to qualify for this money. First of all, schools must have full ownership of the property, and secondly, and the grant application. Second, the project must involve serving students grade pre-K through 12. This is information sent directly from Mr. Hagee. I translate that to mean that the school board must have a plan, and the Board of Supervisors must agree to this plan and work out a way to fund the plan. One big hurdle is this composite index score, which would only allow for 10% of the project money to come from the state in the form of a grant, and the other 90% to be funded locally. It will be up to your local officials to work together to make something positive for this county actually happen. The talk in the community has become evil. When you have people calling for mob attacks on elected officials, inaccurate information being spread throughout the community with the intent to stir up and to create racial divide within our community. There seems to be no limits on what will be said or suggested on social media. Will it take a tragic accident occurring before some of you will stop and think of the possible consequences of your words? There will be many details to be worked out if this proposal is accepted, because it will take all 10 of us, the 5 on the school board and the 5 on the Board of Supervisors. The community will need to hear a report on the work that is to be done and the progress that is being made. As elected officials, and there are many details to be worked out should we go with this proposal. As elected officials, we can make the choice to take a chance at doing something different if we want something to change.
Madam Chair, I think we need discussion on that because that's the first time I've heard about this.
Yes, ma'am. It's a proposal for conversation between the two boards to start.
But you stated that you wanted it on the ballot when the Board of
I do.
Supervisors. That's 2 years from now.
Well, I think that if you start looking at the process of applying for a grant and all the paperwork that you have to go through and the details that have to be worked out, if a facility study is going to be made of the existing situation of these buildings over here, I don't think it will happen any faster than that.
Well, Madam Chair, I can't support that because that grant is you only get 10% of the needed money. 90% comes from the locality, and you're hamstrung into only using it to educate students. And right now, we're probably several hundred less than last year in enrollment, so we don't need more school space. I would much prefer to see, as was suggested, that the Board of Supervisors do an analysis of the buildings and then to see if it can be saved for a physical cost, and then to have community.
That would be part of it.
Input.
That would be part of the discussion.
But you can't wait 2 years to vote, and that grant is not feasible for Powhatan County because it limits you to one and only one use for that property. So that's not being fair and equitable with other potential uses of the property. You're saying you're going to only use it for an elementary school. We don't need, and when we do need an elementary school, if we do someday, it will be in District 1. So I'm sorry, I just wanted to put that out there. I cannot be in favor of that proposal or that motion.
Any other comments?
Yes, I'm just confused why we didn't discuss that why this wasn't brought up during our closed session as well, so we could have further discussion in regards to that.
We can have it right now.
Okay, so if we're going to wait till 2027 in order to put it on a ballot towards the people, that building is going to continue to sit and deteriorate? Is that what will happen?
Well, here's my hope, that if we start to sit down, if we have the two boards working together, will come in, we will sit down and make a plan as to best utilize this. The grant, this was information sent by county administrator in his to utilize. This was also something that was discussed many times in the meetings that the Board of Supervisors held, and also I believe someone has made the comment about it, that there's plenty of money out there from the state. Unfortunately, it might be plenty of money out there, but we only would qualify for 10% of the total project. You're exactly right. But also, in this working together, my efforts would be that we start looking for other grants that could be applied to this. We'd have to have a plan. That's going to take work. It's an effort that you don't have on the table right now,
Well, Madam Chair.
is my thought.
There are no other grants, because
Can other people do their comments?
of course.
All right, Ms. Wade. Did you finish?
So again, what I'm understanding is we just made a vote, and the school board majority voted to appeal the petition of the denial from the Board of Supervisors. And so now you're requesting to have further discussion with both boards. However, the building throughout that process and applying for this particular grant, which is only 10%, which is really a drop in the bucket, it's really not going to impact, savings to this community in the large spectrum of it. But that building is going to continue to sit there for the potential all the way through 2027 and continue to be destroyed. That is not being fiscally responsible of our property that currently is in our name, but it really, again, I keep saying over and over This belongs to the community, to every citizen here in Powhatan, Virginia. It doesn't necessarily belong. On paper, it belongs to the school board, yes, per se, but who do we make decisions for? Every citizen in this county. So again, we're not being fiscally responsible if we're going to let that building continue to rot and deteriorate till 2027. So when you're filing, because I'm understanding if we file to hold, to appeal the process, the only end result with that would be to, I guess, take a lawsuit against the Board of Supervisors, and that could be the meeting that took place that I was not able to sit in on because it was scheduled prior when I was not going to be available. So 2027, we're going to allow that building to continue to sit and deteriorate because we've secured the fact that we can appeal and take a suit against our Board of Supervisors. We're fighting our own people.
Those are your words. The suit.
Correct. We're fighting our own people, and that is our community. Our community wants us to be fiscally responsible and also really just have some common sense. As we could be also responsible that building is going to continue to deteriorate, and Virginia code law states we are supposed to maintain the upkeep. So we need to have a roof on that building ASAP, yesterday. If there was any hopes to even save that, a roof needs to be on this building. So do we really want to be subjected to us not being fiscally responsible and letting the buildings that we're responsible for continue to deteriorate for 2 more years? I don't understand how that brings peace throughout our community. I don't understand how that gives us the potential to be able to go back to our board next year, 2 years, or 5 years down from the road. We are setting a precedence not only for this county, but for the state of Virginia. Everyone is looking at us and how we're handling this. And when you go back to the codes are, if we have surplus property in the Dillon state, it's really to be turned back over to the Board of Supervisors because it belongs to the people.
Anyone else?
Yes.
Madam Chair. So, as I understand it, we want to protect ourselves by filing our appeal, but we also saying, and I thought this was what everybody wanted, was to save those buildings, right? That's what I thought this was. So we agree to work with the county to save those buildings, give them the opportunity, as they have said they wanted, to see if they are viable, and work with them to complete this and go from there. It's probably going to take 2 years just to do that. And I think with working together with the Board of Supervisors will help to get the building secured, hopefully we can do that, and safe, hopefully we can do that. But I don't understand why. I thought that was what everybody wanted. Isn't that what they wanted, to save the buildings? Okay, county, get an estimate. There we go.
Madam
Right.
Chair,
Wait a
Mr.
minute.
Taylor.
Dr. Taylor, you any comment? Everybody should get to their first comment.
I would support your proposal. I would move the timeline up perhaps to 2026, put it on the congressional ballot to make it faster. I mean, people are here tonight, obviously, because they have an opinion. And we keep hearing from people that the vast majority of our county, or actually they use the rhetoric of everybody wants this, and there's no way to actually know that to be true. And so to put it on the ballot as a referendum actually does give the opportunity for those who are voting residents to voice their opinion in an official manner. So I would support a referendum where the people do officially get to say on this matter. Now, we'd have to specify what that language obviously would be and what it says, in regards to that, you know where I stand. I fully believe the facilities must remain in the hands of the school board. Now, if it comes to a point where the county does in fact need more facilities, then they can use space as they are right now. That's an agreement we can work out and do. But if the people in our county are willing to spend the money to renovate, and I said last year that nothing's ever beyond repair, it just comes down to, are you willing to spend the money that's needed to make that happen? And I've always said that these buildings are not worth the investment, just from a cost standpoint. It just seems counterproductive. But if our people vote and say they need to be salvaged, renovated for use, then we should follow that, and we should figure out a way to make it work for all of us. But for all the reasons that I've stated for 6 months, I firmly hold to the fact that they must remain under our ownership, our supervision, and that we continue to work a deal with our county partners, and we use these for county purposes. I would support that, but 26 would be maybe my recommendation to amend your proposal. That gives us 1 year. There's no way to do another vote anytime between now and then unless we did a special election, and that's to the tune of tens of thousands of dollars, and we don't want to do that when we already have a congressional election coming forward. And so, that gives us time to do the study on the feasibility and all of the things that they've been asking us for. So I think this is a good olive branch that you're trying to put out there to try to dial the rhetoric down. So, Vicki, Ms. Hurt, you may have the floor. You're chomping at the
Yes,
bit down
because
there.
what you're requesting is illegal in the state of Virginia. Local issues are permitted to be placed on the ballot only if the question is authorized by statute or by charter. In such cases, the question is specifically stated in either the county, city, or town charter or in the section of the Code of Virginia that permits the question. We don't have the legal right to put that on the ballot. So, before you propose something, you guys need to check it out because you can't do that, so.
Well, I'm so glad that you are our legal advice. We would obviously check that out. This is
Well,
just a proposal
Virginia
to move
Department
forward.
of Elections, that's where I just Googled it.
We're trying to
No, and
come up with a good
Well, here is-
solution. I
it's a
don't
very-
understand where
it's-
the problem
It's a
comes up
very
with.
simple solution that Michelle and I put out there. Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
We,
We
ladies,
asked
please.
to allow the Board of Supervisors to evaluate the building and determine if it's salvageable, and to get experts in there to do it. It will not take years. It will just take several months, probably tops, to do that. And from that point, let the board then sit down, no legality, whatever, then let the two boards sit down. I don't think it should be the chair and the chair. It should be the entire boards because we represent the people of this county. And having one board member or two board members to speak for the entire board is not appropriate in something of this nature.
This was just to get it started.
So that's.
It was just to get the ball rolling, so to
But
speak.
but to
And
say-
if you listen to my
Yeah, but
proposal,
what
wait
you
a
said
minute.
is not legal.
Okay,
Okay.
not legal. That it would take all 10 of us working together.
The first thing we need to decide, if we're going to do it, as we stated, is to allow the buildings
That
to be evaluated.
would be part of it, yes.
Do that immediately
That
and
would be
put that
part of it.
ball in the Board of Supervisors court. Let them deal with handling the professionals to come in and do that. Let them gather the data to see. But this part of putting on, you're not going to put anything on a ballot like this. One constituent recently sent us all an email today suggesting a community committee to come together and decide the best use.
I was trying to put it out there, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but the whole point was to give everybody that lives in Powhatan County
But you
an
can't do that
opportunity,
legally.
an opportunity to voice an opinion on this matter.
Well, of course,
And
but
they do that by a vote.
I know, but you can't do that legally.
Okay.
The state of Virginia will not let you put it on the ballot.
Well, maybe there's another way.
Right. I think that we're trying to come up with a compromise, and it's just being shot down. I don't know what, I'm utterly confused. I do believe that Mrs. Smith said that they will go in and do an evaluation to see what it would cost.
Well, the details would be
Right.
worked out to begin with as we
That-
start,
this is a
the
starting
work
point.
on it.
But not putting on the ballot.
We don't know that yet.
If, Mrs.
It's
Hurt,
not rocket science. It's-
Mrs. Hurt, if putting it on the ballot is not a way for all of the people to speak, maybe that would also be something that we would work out. This is a proposal mostly for the passion and and against the ugliness that has been created in this community over this whole situation. And I am so desperately trying to stop that. And you can sneer and make fun of me because I don't know the law and I'm not an attorney. I don't claim to be. But here's what I do attest to, that this ugliness has got to stop before someone gets hurt.
Is that a threat, Madam Chair?
No.
Oh, okay, I just needed to clarify.
Oh,
'cause
my goodness.
Just wanted to make sure we were clarified.
Clarify, look at your social media comments that are running rampant all through our community and all the ugliness that's being said on there.
Yeah, okay, I just wanted to make sure that we weren't.
And I just want to make one more comment, if I could. We have a group here, and I know that you all are passionate about wanting to save the school. And this is why we are trying to work out a way for us to save this school, okay? Obviously, you have to see that there is an effort being made, okay? Same thing happened when we passed the governor's model policy, okay? We had droves of people that came out to speak against us passing the governor's model policy. But we still passed the governor's model policy because the majority of the people were speaking, they just weren't coming out here to speak. So if we're only supposed to listen to the people that come here and not, I have received numerous questions and comments that tear it down, tear it down. I have received 2 emails that said, save it. And I had 1 meeting, okay? So it's the same thing as the governor's model policy where we had standing room only here to speak against us adopting the governor's model policy. But we did. So I can't go with the small number of people that are here. I have to go with all of the people, even the ones that are not here to speak tonight. That's all I have to say.
Any other comments from board
The
members?
rhetoric is just out of control. It's just out of control. This is an attempt, and to try to undo an olive branch. I had a conversation with an election official in this state today, and the advice was, this is a possibility, but you'd have to go through the county attorney, your own attorneys, and just see about the legality of it. I looked at it, and I know it's a chance, it's a possibility, but at least it's something. I'm not a legal expert, I don't play one on TV, but it is an opportunity for every person that is a voting resident in this county to have a say, which is not the case right now. You can come to these board meetings, you can come to the supervisors' meetings. We don't have 31,000 seats in this room. There's not 31,000 seats at the Village Building either. And so there's no way that we can hear from every single person. I live in this county, I live in the heart of this county. I walk through Food Line, I walk through Walmart, I'm in the Village all the time. I don't have people coming up and berating me about these buildings, I don't. And so the only time I hear that there's an issue there is in this, with that handful of 25, 30 people. How in the world am I supposed to make a decision when there's 31,000 plus residents in our county and I'm only hearing from 20 of them? right? And you say, this is the majority, this is the voice. I can't know that. And so if this is such an issue, and it has been so blown out of proportion, in my opinion, this summer, this seems to be the only way to actually resolve it, and allowing what you've been demanding, the people speak, is the only way we can know. So I support it. It's an olive branch. Whether our friends on the other side will take it up, see if we can work together, is to be determined. But at least it's what they've been asking us to do. So thank you, Madam Chair, for leading this.
Madam Chair, I'm still not clear as to, Taylor. I think we lost, there we go. What is the long-term goal? The long-term goal is to have both boards meet, is this what I'm hearing? Is it to put it on a ballot, which I've just looked up the code and we can't do that? Is it to let the building continue to dilapidate and, get even worse? When you make a proposal to have an olive branch, what is the ultimate result that we're looking for? Because that is the continued issue. If we're still not willing to give it back to the people, that's what our responsibility is to educate the children. We have wasted so much time and energy on this instead of focusing on the bullying in our schools, the education, what we really need to be focused, what we're charged to be focused on, and that is educating our students and supporting the families in this community with their children and the progression that they're going to be great voters for someday for us here at this community, for in our own community. It's what is that out-term goal? And if we have to wait till 2026 or 2027, that building is going to continue to be degraded. So if you could help clarify a little bit more, if we're saying an olive branch, we're offering an olive branch for both boards to get together, where is that movement going to go forward? Do we have to be in agreement with everything that the Board of Supervisors wants to do? I mean, if we're only keeping it for school purposes, we've already discussed this. We don't need that. We don't need that for school purposes right now for educating any students. I mean, yes, great idea. Maybe have I said we'd like to have a dental assistant program and really launch that to that could be some space over there. But if we don't have a true need for it right now, again, according to the Virginia Code and Law, it should be deemed surplus property. We give it back to the Board of Supervisors and let them figure it out. Let them speak to the community. Let the community come and talk to their Board of Supervisors, because it's my money as well. I pay taxes out here, and I'm trying to look at every decision as to how I would want my money well spent, and who do I trust with that? I trust the Board of Supervisors in regards to this to do what is best for the people, because this is very passionate to them. District 5 is the largest Democratic and Black representation in our county. That's my district. And that's why I was as I was put, I was not personally offended. I was never given a true concrete reason as to why that emergency hearing had to take place with me not being present. It could have waited 4 more days. However, excuse me. So anyways, my bottom line is, help me understand what is the long-term goal of this, of offering this olive branch? And how soon can we have resolution? Because are we waiting another 9, 10, 15 months for people just to be done with it? Because they're tired or things move on? I mean, I had a constituent call me from District 1 last night. He's just heard of it. We still have plenty of people that don't even know that this is going on.
Exactly.
Why you put it on the ballot?
We can't put it on the ballot, Mr. Taylor.
Actually, we could look into a bond referendum.
That's to raise money.
Right, to pay for it. Again, I still don't understand. We just are offering to work with the Board of Super. We don't have the details worked out. That's where we're going to work with the Board of Supervisors. I thought this was what everybody wanted. But again, you might not be able to put it on the ballot, but it could be a bond referendum where people vote whether they want their tax money to go into renovation and what they want it for. But let us get together with the Board of Supervisors first before you completely just, I don't even know what, I'm sorry, I'm at a loss for words.
Madam
I
Chair, then
apologize.
clean up the motion to state that we are willing, in both boards in entirety, I can talk tonight, sit and meet together to discuss.
Well, if we couldn't get every single board member, think about the time. I think working out the logistics in the beginning would make sense to have just the chair and the vice chair.
No,
because
I
there's no way you
disagree.
can ever get all 10 board members and the superintendent and the administrator together at the same time for as many meetings as this is going to take.
I'm sure it can be arranged. I feel confident.
We couldn't get it arranged for an emergency meeting.
I guarantee you that the Board of Supervisors, okay, no. Madam Chair, just call for the vote and let's move on.
I made a proposal of a suggestion. If there's a motion there of any board members that would like to support that in any way,
I will make a
it
motion.
can be just as basic as putting the chair, the chair of both boards, the superintendent and the county administrator, to sit down and have a conversation about some many details to be worked out, to be brought back to the board, to each of the boards, and figure out how we are going to move forward in doing this.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to get with the chair, the vice, or the chair of both boards, the superintendent and the county administrators together to start working together to see what we can do with these buildings.
Do I have a second?
Is that motion, does it contain any referendum language, or is that to be determined through
To
this?
be determined.
Through this
To be determined.
meeting, okay? That's an opportunity to look at the feasibility of the legal stuff there. That's fine. Can you is there any way you could restate that?
I make a motion that the chairs of both Board of Supervisors and School Board and the county administrator and the school superintendent schedule some meetings to try and work out how we can best facilitate the saving and/or anything of these buildings, with everything else to be determined.
I'll second. I mean, it's really open-ended. I was hoping that would be a little bit more dialed in. I like the referendum talk, because that is the olive branch. Let's let the people speak. But if that's going to be part of the discussion, then I'll second. I'm for it. It's a step. It's a step in the direction.
Madam Chair,
Hopefully it'll be reciprocated.
All right, we have a motion. Does it need to be repeated? Do you want need to be repeated?
I don't think it needs to be repeated.
All right, then let's get a vote. Stacy, would you call a vote, please?
Vicky Hart, District 1,
No.
Susan Smith, District 2,
Yes.
Jeannie Wade, District 3. Yes. James Taylor, District 4.
Yes.
Joe Ward, District 5.
No.
Thank you. Motion passes. All right, and moving right along. On our awards and recognitions for this evening, Chief School Officer Courtney Jarman. We need to go down. Yes.
Oh, we're going down. Is it not working?
All right, really exciting part of the night to recognize one of our teachers in the county. This is for the 2025-2026 Geography Teacher Fellow Award. Powhatan High School teacher Paula Duncan has been named a 2025-2026 Geography Teacher Fellow by the American Geographical Society. She is one of only 50 educators nationwide to receive this prestigious honor. Mrs. Duncan is an AP Human Geography and World History II teacher and the Social Studies Department chair at the high school. She has taught for 30 years, 26 of them with PCPS. AGS is dedicated to the advancement of geographic thinking, knowledge, and understanding across business, government, academics, social sectors, and most importantly, with teachers and students. Its highly selective Geography Teacher Fellow program recognizes outstanding educators who are leading the way in advancing geographic literacy in classrooms across the country. As part of this fellowship, Mrs. Duncan will be honored as a guest at the AGS Geography 2050 Symposium in November at Columbia University in New York City. The AGS Fall Symposium and Teacher Fellow Workshop will bring together teacher fellows with thought leaders from academia, government, industry, and the social sector to facilitate discussion of the major forces shaping our planet's future. This year's symposium theme is GeoAI and the future of our planet, and will explore the effects of AI on the future of geospatial foundation models, risk assessments, climate processes, and more. This honor underscores PCPS's commitment to leveraging talent, a key goal in the division's strategic plan, and demonstrates the impact of dedicated teachers on the success on the students and the community. At this point, I want to congratulate Paula Duncan.
Student Liaison, Miss Ella Yarhouse.
Hello and good evening. We're approaching the end of our first quarter at Powhatan County Public Schools. Over these past few weeks, I've had the privilege of connecting with each of our schools and their students, students who shared some valuable feedback regarding the first quarter. I'll begin with sharing the activities that the students engaged in. Starting with Powhatan High School, teachers and students could watch the 9/11 ceremony in person from the stands in the football field. Our JRTC members presented the ceremony and did an excellent job honoring the events that occurred on 9/11. Later in the first quarter, the club fair took place. This was an event where clubs and organizations in Powhatan High School were encouraged to set up a booth on Main Street for the student body to ask questions, gain information, and potentially join the club. Students are currently able to sign up for clubs, and I'll be sure to gather some feedback once club meetings have started. Lastly, on October 4th, we had our annual homecoming dance, which included 2 pep rallies, one on the previous Thursday and one on the previous Friday. Friday night, we had our homecoming game where Powhatan won. Congratulations to the football team, as well as Jackson Ferris and Cassidy Moser, who were crowned the homecoming king and queen. Moving on to Powhatan Middle School. Students were visited by the Advanced College Academy cohort members from the high school to learn more about alternative high school pathways. The high schoolers went to various classes, sharing their experiences within the program, answering questions, and providing further information. Students and their families were also invited to a non-traditional high school night where they learned more about ACA, Maggie Walker, and other options. Next, the Scholastic Book Fair was also held for the first time at the middle school. Typically, it's only available to elementary schools, but it was a welcomed addition to the middle school this year. It allowed students to find various books that sparked their interest. Now for our elementary schools. I received some fantastic feedback on their first quarter that I'd like to share with you. I asked the students from each school the following questions, and then I'll read their responses after each question. The first question I asked was, what's one thing you look forward to most when you come to school? Here were the most popular responses I received. The first one was, I love art class, and their explanation was because they get to paint and use glitter. The second option or answer that occurred quite frequently was library day, and one student shared that they're attempting to read every Dog Man book that is available to them. And the third, which was the most popular by far, was recess, and one explanation was because the student liked to swing and race their friends around the track. The second question I asked was, what's something that makes your school special? And this was to all 3 of our elementary schools. And throughout those 3 schools, the third most popular answer was everyone knows each other, even kids in other grades. The second most popular answer was we have the best playground, or recess related. And then the most common answer that I received was our teachers, because they make learning fun and help us even when we mess up. The third question I asked was, what's one thing that makes learning fun for you? And the third most popular answer was working in groups because they can collaborate and help each other. The second answer I had was when we do activities instead of worksheets. Students explained that this was typically hands-on activities, which was the most popular answer was when we get to draw or build stuff to show what we learned. From this, I gathered that the students preferred more tactical activities, preferred to worksheets. Overall, each school had a successful first quarter, and I'm excited to see how the next quarter goes. The student feedback was incredibly helpful and, of course, always welcome. I'd like to say a special thank you to the students who answered my questions, and then another thank you to the teachers and staff who made this first quarter possible. Students thrive when they're in a positive, collaborative classroom, and I want to encourage our teachers to keep up their amazing work. And as for the students, I encourage you to take advantage of the opportunities before you, join a new club, read a new book, and let me know how it goes. As always, I look forward to hearing from the students as the school year progresses. Thank you.
Thank you, Ella. Next up, we have Katie Matheny, Director of Student Services and Intervention, and she's going to talk to us about the Virginia School Law Enforcement Partnership Memorandum of Understanding for FY26. Thank you, Katie. Welcome.
Good evening. Tonight I'm here to share our most recent MOU between the Powhatan County Schools and our Powhatan Sheriff's Office. This is reviewed every 2 years. We did not make any major changes since our last MOU. The purpose of the MOU is to define the roles and responsibilities of our school resource officers. For this memorandum, Sergeant Kelly and myself, we review this every year with all of our administrators to make sure that they understand and can ask questions. We also meet with our school resource officers and the principals of each building to also go through the procedures and give them the opportunity to ask any questions or share any concerns that they have with us. So tonight I'm here. I know y'all have a copy in front of you and just here to see if you all have any questions.
All right, board members, do you have any questions? on this? No? All right, hearing none, we'll, thank you,
All
Katie.
right, thank you.
Dr. Clayton, Dr. Lynn Clayton Prince, Director of Special Education, I get my tongue straight here, will be speaking about the Wolf Trap Foundation for the Performing Arts.
Yes, good evening, Dr. Tigan, Madam Chair, and school board members. I am excited to share that Powhatan County was chosen for a grant through the Virginia Department of Education for Wolf Trap residency for early childhood classrooms. Each teacher participating in the collaborative partnership will have a resident who will work with them for 1 week in the month of November. We have a total of 22 pre-K through first grade teachers that have volunteered and are excited to participate in this opportunity. It will provide professional development for them. The kickoff will be next Monday, October 20th in the PM, and they will be providing a performance workshop that's titled The Beat of Your Own Drum. Are there any questions?
Questions from the board? They excited?
They are very excited about it. I'm excited about it also. And it's zero cost to our county, and the total dollar amount is about $27,000. So
saw
we will
that.
definitely benefit from the professional development with our staff.
Excellent, excellent. All right, thank you, Dr. Prince. Now, Dr. Angela Stewart, Chief Academic Officer, will give us an update on the strategic plan.
Okay, good evening. Oh, I don't have much of a voice, so I'm going to do my best. Annually, we share, thank you. Annually, we share progress points for the strategic plan that was written in 2023 that runs through 2030. This is our opportunity to share a little bit. Just as a reminder, our mission and vision are focused in on high-quality, authentic, and inspiring learning experiences for each individual, which we've heard a little bit of an example of some of those things just now from Dr. Prince. And also the vision helps us to guide our work to empower students to embrace the possibilities of tomorrow as productive learners, compassionate leaders, and engaged citizens. And I won't read everything on these slides because I know there's a lot of information, but part of our strategic plan also includes some core values identified by the committee that developed this plan before I was here, but prior to 2023. And so all of those core values also guide the decision-making and the work that we do to support our learners across the division. Goal, I'm turning my paper and not the slideshow, sorry. We also have 4 goals as part of our strategic plan. Academic excellence, which obviously pushes us to make sure that our students get the best learning experiences possible and prepare them for life beyond PCPS. Through community partnerships, work-based learning experiences, and then, of course, engaging instructional experiences. Our goal 2 is around leveraging talent, which means that we recruit and also invest in developing the folks that we have working here in PCPS. And so we have a lot of pieces at play there to make sure that we are recognizing folks. We are ensuring that we're giving them really strong professional development and building towards that. And certainly trying to do our best to compensate and recruit the people that are coming to us with our goals in mind. Goal 3 revolves around family and community engagement, and this is the area in which we are trying to be as purposeful as possible to make sure that we are partnering with families and community organizations to ensure that our students are getting authentic learning and the best possible experiences that we can provide for them. With communication plans to highlight school events and programs to make sure that people are able to participate in these things that we're offering to support students and celebrate their work. And also additional engagement opportunities both in schools and across the whole division depending on the events that are taking place. And then the 4th goal is around student wellness, and that focuses on providing
positive, safe, and supportive learning environments so that students can be their best self in the classroom. And so, providing educational facilities that are safe, clean, and comfortable, having a continuum of support that supports all students, and making sure that we are effectively implementing the safety plans and procedures that we have in place. So in July, if you remember a few months ago, in July 31st, 2025, some of our accreditation standards were changed from the state, and in receiving those, there were some obvious ways that we may need to change some of our key performance indicators, which are the measures by which the plan, when originally written, were designed to be measured. Some of those remain the same, some of them are different, but as we move forward in this coming year, there is plan to work to ensure alignment to some of those accreditation standards, using some of the pieces that we have available to us to make sure that we are, in fact, doing the things that we have identified in our strategic plan. And so we plan to pull some committees together, just like had been done previously, to try to do the best we can to identify and define appropriate key performance indicators where needed. And I want to be clear in saying the strategic plan is not changing, just some of the ways that we've measured it to make sure that we are in complete alignment and that we're reporting accurate information. Just to give you a couple of highlights of some of the information that we do have that we can share with you as an update. One of the metrics that we had identified as part of the strategic plan was to reduce absenteeism by a rate of students by 10%. And if you look from the 24-25 column to the 25-26 column, you will see that we were able to make some changes. I'll let you read through those, with Powhatan Elementary School being the largest percentage. I say drop, but that's actually a good thing because that means there were more students present. And some of that happens just by education of the importance of making sure that kids are in the building. We also had the help and support. I'm looking at Katie Matheny, our Student Services Director, I forget what the title is. Your student, an attendance interventionist who helped us to make sure that we were moving in the right direction there too. And we continue to have her in that role again this year. Another metric that we can look at is, actually several up there. We were aiming to decrease dropouts by 5%. And if you look at the columns from 24-25 and 25-26, we did a really great job of decreasing that amount. We increased the graduation rate, which is fairly, still got room to grow, but that was a good increase right there. And then the violations related to bullying, harassment, and fighting by 5% was the goal initially written in the strategic plan, key performance indicators. And you'll see that we did decrease and have a change of percentage of those from 24-25 to 25-26. We also wanted to share with you some of our preliminary accountability data. We will be giving next month a more comprehensive overview of the data that we got back, but we are still getting, the state is still adjusting some things. We wanted to make sure that we are sharing accurate information, so we'll be sharing that next week. But for right now, we're happy to say that all of our schools are either on track or distinguished according to the new accountability measures put in place. And you can see we actually added an additional distinguished school there. So our high school and Powhatan Elementary School are both distinguished. But we are glad to say that everybody's on track, and we now know where to go to move toward all distinguished. Any questions?
Madam Chair, I got a question. Yes. Dr. Stewart, can you clarify, it shows on all those charts, 24, 25, 25, 26. Can you just help people understand that when it says 25, 26, we're not looking at a subset of 1 month's data. That's actually last year's data and vice versa for the other years. It's just the way it's indicated, correct?
Correct. So the data that we show for I'll just send it back so you can see if it's going to listen to me. Okay. So the data that you're looking at in 24-25 is based on the student performance from the year prior, so for
Yes.
23-24. So you're correct in what you're
Yes,
saying.
it was one of those things that when I was looking at this last week, I had to ask about, because I'm like, are we comparing a whole year to 1 month? And that would be good comparison. So just wanted our public to know that. When's the proposed timeline, or what is the proposed timeline for putting together people for the strategic plan revital or reworking of the key KPIs? I guess is what I'm trying to say. When will that take place?
I'm going to
I
defer
will
to
go
Dr.
ahead and
Taggart on
address
that one.
that.
All right.
We are hoping to launch an application for our residents to be able to apply, as well as our staff. And so that should be going out within the next week. And then there's already dates set up that are in there. Wanted to make sure we had the dates of when we would be meeting so that when people apply, they know whether they can actually attend the meetings. And so we have that information now, and so those dates will get on calendars for people. And I know one of the other things that we discussed was last year, actually 2.5 years ago, there were 2 of you that served from the board on that strategic planning committee. And so we felt, based on comments from you all, that it would be better to have all 5 of you there, and we will just make sure that we post them as meetings as well.
All right, thank you.
I don't know if that's me or not. Okay,
Any other questions? Sorry.
that's okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Moving on to the first draft of legislative priorities for the school board. All right, board members, you had received a list of the past legislative concerns plus suggestions from the superintendent, along with a link to the VSBA legislative proposals. And I have asked you to send me your feedback on VSBA legislative proposals. I think I sent you an informative email last week about the email that would connect you with those, and any other legislative proposals that you would like to see put on the list this evening.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I do think it's really important. You can add this to SOQ addition, requirement to recheck employee fingerprints and child abuse registry status every 3 to 5 years instead of at just hiring. Because people slip in or things happen after they've been hired and we're not following up. But I want to also point out that I don't like the idea of just relying solely on the VSBA to represent us. As elected school board members, it's our responsibility to be aware of what's happening in the General Assembly and contacting the chairs in both the Senate and the House of Delegates that are over education, as well as making the VDOE aware of what our needs are. I do have a list of the key dates when pre-filing begins, which that begins November 17th. And any school board member, we should be submitting draft bills and ideas. I know Mr. ASAP was great getting a bill passed regarding due process, and that started the process last year in November, and has proved very beneficial to all schools across the state of Virginia. The start of the season begins January 14th, and to keep that in mind. So I do think it's very important as members of the school board that we are aware of the timely, I can talk tonight, filings and so forth, so that we can offer input. So I don't think we should just rely exclusively on the VSBA. We should be doing our homework and look at our particular needs in Powhatan, which are very different than, say, the needs of a school system in Northern Virginia. So that's the problem when you have one large organization kind of lobbying a legislature agenda. It may not be meeting all the needs of our particular locality because we're very different than other localities. And so that's one thing that I've always stayed abreast of and talked to various legislatures of the needs of the people of Powhatan County, the students in Powhatan County, because that's what we're here for. So, but I do think that's very important to add that additional SOQ to that list, and I'm going to also personally be taking that to legislatures regarding that. And I'll reiterate that employees should be rechecked for fingerprints and the child abuse registry status every 3 to 5 years instead of just at hiring for the safety of all our students. Thank you.
Ms. Wade, any comments?
No, I like that idea, and I think we have some, and then we do the VSBA, but yes, I agree. That's a good one. Thank you.
Dr. Taylor?
Well, I'll just reiterate what I was sharing with you yesterday, that there's a clear need for our governor schools to be revamped in their funding, because they really have no funding options. And so as the chair of the Maggie Walker Board, my plan, Mrs. Hurt, is to try to get a hearing with both of those committee chairs in the legislature and see if we can get some movement there, because, as you know, we need some help in those governor schools.
Mrs. Ward?
I would concur with what Vicki Hurt has stated that she would like to see, and I would actually possibly like to see an additional screening purpose or process when we are hiring, and maybe even intermittently, as you said, yearly. For example, being a registered nurse, also serving here on the school board, we all are obligated to do yearly education and training purposes. I would like to see, maybe we would be one of the few school districts to develop some type of social and psychiatric interview process. For example, I know when you go to get hired with some of our medical professionals, HCA, there is I think it's 250, 275 questionnaire that continues to ask particular questions. Because my main concern is when we are trying to protect our children in regards to sexual abuse or sexual deviation or any other atrocity, is if they haven't been convicted, we're not going to know. And they're going to be hired. And so I would love to see our HR department expand upon that possibly and bring us some information that we could possibly do some type of screening questionnaires to try and help protect our children from some of the perpetrators that come to school divisions looking for victims.
All righty. Do we need to have a workshop to do further discussion on this?
Madam Chair,
Is that a no? Is that a yes?
I don't know if we necessarily need a workshop. Possibly our HR department could maybe do some research for us to bring us some more information in regards to, my particular ask. And then we could move forward once we receive some of that information.
All right. Moving right along. On to our academic discussions. Bringing the joy of literacy. Middle school principal Colin Ennis. Madam Chair. Madam Chair.
Good evening.
Do you want a break? Excuse
We
me.
good?
Oh, wait, go ahead. I'll just slip.
Okay. You're fine. Thank you for having us tonight, Madam Chair and members of the board. I'm here just talk a little bit about the happenings at Powhatan Middle School. I'm Colin Ennis. I'm our principal. I'm blessed to be our principal. Thank you, Dr. Taylor, for your introduction tonight. Our staff is working really hard. Behind me, I have three integral staff members. I have Miss Beth Humphrey. She's a 7th grade English teacher. I also have Jill Long, also a 7th grade English teacher, and our reading coach, Sherelle Scott. And we're going to talk a little bit about bringing the joy to literacy, but and how it's inspired, started with these three ladies, and it's inspired our school community as well. And here we go. Next slide. It's going to go. I know. Let me turn it back on. Oh, all right. Oh, a little too far. It'll come back in a second. So there it is. When we're thinking of our mission and our vision, I think what we're doing right now is hopefully inspiring great learning experiences for our students, and so that they feel empowered to create their own vision for tomorrow. When we're thinking about literacy, it's so impactful. It can also be a little dry, and that's why these ladies are really trying to make sure that it's not dry and that it's really inspiring and impactful for all of our students. And all of our staff have a committee that they have to serve on, and these ladies created their own committee because they're so passionate about literacy. And it's also been supported by Tracy Engel, our English specialist in the county. And now it's grown to, we have our STEM coaches on the committee, art teachers are on the committee, science teachers are on it, and so that we can spread literacy and ignite passion in our students. And they're going to come up and tell you a little bit more about how we're doing it and really how they are leading the way in this initiative.
Okay, thank you. Hi, thank you again for having us tonight. So I'm Beth Humphrey, and so this is a picture of the entryway to our school where we are bringing the joy to literacy. We kind of came up with the idea over the summer to get things kicked off, and this all stemmed from last year. Our theme for the school was One Team, One Dream, and this year we stepped it up a notch and we wanted to keep the dream going. And one of the things that the kids said last year in our writing contest, they kind of wanted our school spruced up a little bit. So we talked with Tracy Engel, and we kind of brainstormed with some other teachers, and Color Your World with Reading was the theme of, I think it was a national campaign. And so we sort of grabbed onto that, and we thought about the Land of Oz. And for the beginning of the school year, we turned our 7th grade hallway, which is downstairs and kind of a main thoroughfare through the school, we turned it into the colorful world of reading. And we went with the Oz theme. So then we started with reading challenges for our students, and they're grade level challenges that are monthly and go throughout the year to get our kids engaged in reading. And so they're competing against each other to try and read the most books. This month we're focused more on poetry, and we just kind of keep upping our game a little bit. And as you could, well, you can't see our scoreboard there, but 7th grade is in the lead right now, just saying. All right, do I have another one, or? Oh, okay, so these were just some more of our, this was a step and repeat, which was actually Mrs. Long's idea for our entryway to our 7th grade hall. And then we've got books have courage, we have books have heart, we had books have knowledge. And this month we changed it up so that we have books have magic, books have chills, and books have suspense. So we kind of made it a little more of an October-y theme. So that's sort of what we're up to and our vision for where we're going.
Hello, good evening. I'm Sherelle Scott. I'm the reading coach at the middle school. And back in mid-September, we had our first book fair. It was a little scary at first because we hadn't had one at the middle school in well over a decade. But we kicked it off, and we sold over $7,600 in book fair sales. And that's really to generate the love and to foster the love of reading and books with our students. And they loved it. They also had a Share the Fair initiative with that, where they came in and they bought their books, and if they could round up their dollars so that their fellow students could receive books that could not afford them, and they were, majority, all of the students did that, so that was great, that their student body was very engaged and wanted all of the students to be able to benefit from having a book. So I am excited about that initiative, and I'm hoping that this was the first of many more book fairs at our building, and I'm looking forward to having one again next year. So it was great.
Good evening, I'm Jill Long. So I'm talking to you this evening about inspiring the monthly themes that we've set to inspire our students to want to read, because it's one thing to decorate and get them excited, but how are we going to actually get them to want to read a book? So in September, we introduced the Virginia Reader's Choice Books, which is a collection of books written by Virginia authors. And we work closely with the library to introduce some of those books, especially the newest editions of those books, to our students, and they get rewarded by points for reading those books. This month, as Ms. Humphrey said, we're focusing on poetry because we're going to be putting up a Dead Poet Society in our courtyard. So we're featuring Poe, and the art teacher has come up with some wonderful lessons from our art classes with tombstones, and they've done research on poets that have passed. And have made some wonderful writing and art examples to go display in the library. Next month, we will be having a theme of gratitude, but we will also be focusing on informational text for November, K-N-O-W-Member. And so we'll be highlighting informational text in our 7th grade hallway, and hopefully it'll start spreading around the school to the science and history halls. In December, we're hoping to have a challenge for our students and their parents to read books together so we can get our families involved in reading with their children, and really, we're starting to see the passion ignite, and it's started a spark with our students.
So thank you. So that's just a little bit of what we're doing at Powhatan Middle School, and it's really just been inspired by these three ladies, and that's kind of caught fire throughout our school. And so we thank you all for your support, and thank you for your support of the book fair, and we appreciate all that you do for our students and our staff. Questions, I guess?
A gentleman over there at that middle school, I've heard it many times, y'all are just too perky and happy to be that early in the morning. But good job. Thank you for being that.
And I
and
have
doing
to
that.
say, as a parent of children that had all three of those teachers, thank you.
All right. We are going to take a bathroom break, and we will be right back. Dr. Stewart's next presentation. meeting. I appreciate that very much.
Thank you, Michelle.
All right, we will pick up with the presentation by Dr. Angela Stewart, our Chief Academic Officer, on professional development updates for 2025-26.
Thank you. Every year, we like to share a little bit about the professional development that we are providing to our staff over the summer, and also a little bit about what we're doing throughout the school year. So I wanted to take an opportunity to connect this back to that strategic plan that I talked about at the beginning. This is goal 2, and being able to leverage talent and invest in our professionals in classrooms and elsewhere. This clicker is not cooperating. There we go. Summer PD, there was quite an extensive list of things that were offered for administrators and staff, paraprofessionals, all kinds of groups of folks that we had. I won't read all of those, but some of the highlights would be individualized education plan training, some specially designed instruction training, new teacher academy, safety care, CPR first aid. Some of the zones of regulation are some components of helping students regulate their emotional state to help them in handling different situations. We all have required trainings that we do each year that are part of our requirement as part of PCPS. And so those are always completed. And there are some other trainings, including our Empower conference, which we held at the middle school this year, which covers all students, all staff, anybody working with teacher or with students. And you know, it's always a very highly energetic event that is for teachers by teachers, and we're really proud of that event for our staff. During Teacher Return Week, which again still counts kind of as part of summer, I guess, even though we're all back in full swing, there was a half day spent with instructional specialists. This was new or maybe revived from a previous practice before, during which teachers spent time digging into some of the new standards, looking at revisions of pacing guides, reviewing the foundational phases of the instructional model and expectations for instruction, incorporating and talking about how to incorporate reading and writing, not just in ELA classes, but across the board in all content areas, electives included. And I think the middle school just gave you an example of how they're really spreading that throughout in their own unique way. And then there were some specially designed instruction trainings for new and returning special education teachers and paraeducators to ensure that we have practices in place that are consistent and effective for our special education students. Ongoing PD in 25-26 includes a focus on planning with clarity. We know that teacher clarity is has one of the most high effective sizes of impact for students, according to John Hattie's research and meta-analysis. So we have actually partnered with the principals, assistant principals, instructional coaches, lead teachers, and instructional specialists to develop a train the trainer model in which they are attending workshops 5 times throughout the year with the intent that they can go back to their schools. Each specialist is paired with a school to help be a support from the central office level to take back to their classrooms or to the school buildings and be able to figure out the best way, the best entry point for that professional development to be shared with teachers, and to determine the speed with which they move within their school depending on the needs of their specific school. So everybody gets the same training, but they're getting the opportunity to differentiate it as needed, just like we would do with our students as well. And then the instruction team is putting together an instruction connection. It was started last year, and it's been just continued and really continues to be refined and made amazing. That goes out, a monthly newsletter that goes out that has tips and tricks and little tidbits of information, trainings and things to consider, highlights, shout outs to amazing things they've seen teachers doing, and that goes out once a month from the instruction team. I don't know why that keeps going off. I think that's all I had, though. Oh, that's the move on out, you're done. Okay. Are there any questions that you have for me about the PD?
There you're back. You're back if you want to.
Oh, thank you. That's my last slide.
All right. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Now, here comes our public comment period time. All right. In accordance with School Board Policy BDDH/KD and BDDH-R, any resident of Powhatan County Schools and any staff member may address the board during public comment. All speakers who wish to speak must sign up before public comment begins. If the speaker has a handout or information for the board, please give it to the clerk. Individuals get 3 minutes to speak. Pre-approved delegations get 5 minutes. No one can sign up to speak and relinquish their speaking time to another. Please address comments to the board as a whole, not individual board members, the audience, or the staff. The board will not respond or address issues raised during public comment. The board chair is authorized to stop or remove any speaker who uses vulgar, disruptive, or threatening language. A maximum of 30 minutes will be designed for public comment this evening. Those who signed up will be called by the board chair to the podium to speak. Please begin your speaking time by stating your full name and district. Okay. First person up, Delray Spence.
Delray Spence, 5th District.
Thank you. Welcome.
I come here tonight with a very heavy heart. I had planned to come here anyhow over a meeting for my grandson that I found out once I got there yesterday. Only 2 were going to be there instead of 4. But I woke up to a phone call this morning. It is a tragic loss of a child taking their life last night. This needs to be addressed. I brought it to the attention of the board last month, and here I am again saying a tragic loss. It's not my child. I don't know this child. But something needs to be done. The school system does not support the parents, obviously, about the meeting yesterday. And now family has lost, and the school system has lost a teenager for him taking his own life. When are people going to wake up? Our kids need our support. I have 19 grandkids. Thank God all of them don't go here. But is it going to be a phone call? Mama, your grandson or your granddaughter took their life last night. Are my kids going to come home from school safely? Wake up, people. And I would like the rest of my time to go to the memory of that child and supporting of his family. Thank you.
Thank you. Is the time up? 35 seconds. Okay. Linda Powell. Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Linda Powell, and I'm District 5. I'm usually a very positive, outgoing, bubbly person, and I have been in front of y'all before due to the building that y'all want to demolish and destroy, which I'm totally against that. But I'm not here for that tonight. We started this evening with a moment of silence and a prayer for a loss of life that was spoken of this week. It wasn't a week, it was last night. A young kid took his life that could have been prevented. It could have been stopped. Somebody could have done something. The school needs to do better. Parents need to do better. We need unity. We need to come together. This bickering up here, it's childish. It's immature. It's disrespectful. It's uncalled for. And you're not setting a good example for our kids. I don't even have little kids in school anymore. My kids are grown. But I have 7 grandchildren. And I can tell you, if they are bullied by anybody, staff, student, administration, I will be the first one up to the school. I volunteered at my kids' school. I was there all the time. When my kids were wrong, I didn't defend them. When the school's right, I backed them up. My kids are not perfect. No kid is perfect. It doesn't matter what kind of conflict these kids have in school. We are adults, and we need to act like it. We need to protect them, keep them safe in school. They're there to be educated. We are not to keep things hush-hush because it's not good for the community or the county. People need to hear what happened last night. I don't need to say names. It's going to come out. This young kid, I believe, was a 9th grader, took his life. This kid had an incident last month. That incident could have killed this person. And this person just recently came back to school. What, a week ago? And they took their own life last night. Ridiculous. I'm appalled. I'm sick. Nothing will get done with this board right here. Nothing will improve or get better until you 4 are gone. Y'all do not agree. You don't work together.
All right, Mrs. Powell, thank you for sharing your thoughts.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Y'all disgusting.
Mike Oliver.
Good evening. I'm Mike Oliver, District 3. I am sorry for the loss of anybody who knew that child. I certainly didn't, but anybody will mourn the loss of a child unnecessarily. I am here to speak about the Landmark Center. I am in the camp of it should be turned back over to the county and the board. I have heard no rational reason why it shouldn't, other than some parochial interest. I haven't heard any other reason other than that. I am concerned, like the previous speaker, at the tone of the board and the communication between board members. I have certainly seen and witnessed tonight board members, certainly primarily of the majority, who want to keep the Landmark Center, speak in a condescending tone to the people that don't agree with them. I've seen board members speak in a condescending tone to the audience here, to tell the audience, you know, you don't represent people, you're just a crowd here that showed up. Well, the crowd that shows up are the people that are interested. And perhaps somebody will stand up here tonight and say that they support the board in tearing down the building and keeping it for their own interests, whatever those may be. Perhaps that'll be the case. I'm hopeful that if a dialogue occurs between the two boards, that it is productive. With the condescending tone that I hear from this board, I'm not optimistic of that. It seems to me that the goal, one of the board members asked, what is the goal of the meeting? And the goal of the meeting has not been stated. I believe that the school board's goal of the meeting is that the county board of supervisors capitulate to you guys and say, y'all keep it and we'll pay the bills and y'all own it. Well, I own it. I'm a taxpayer. Talking in condescending ways to each other is not productive. Have a productive conversation. Act like a leader. Don't lecture to the crowd. Speak to yourselves. Thank you.
Fran Carlton.
Fran Carlton, District 4.
Welcome.
I'm a past Powhatan Christmas mother of 2014. However, tonight, I'm not speaking for the Christmas Mother Program or the Christmas Everyday Committee, but rather for myself. In August 2023, we noticed the mold was growing in the cafeteria and in the kitchen and storage room area at the Landmark Center where the Christmas Everyday Committee had their headquarters set up. And it was affecting people. I was asked to contact a company that would come in and test our mold and give us a report on its status. Work environments came in, took samples in the cafeteria, the kitchen, and the storage room, and the hallway that runs parallel to the cafeteria, and sent us a report. Yes, we had lots of different types of mold. The heaviest concentration of mold was in the ceiling of the kitchen because the ceiling's roof leaked. I contacted SurfPro of Chesterfield to get an estimate of what it would cost to remove the mold in the kitchen and the cafeteria and storage room. I gave them our square footage and the types of mold that was present. SurfPro said the starting cost would be $350,000. However, he assured me that the cost would be much more because the process of removing the mold, which would be removing the ceiling tiles, the inside air conditioning unit, scraping the mold off the painted walls. For our short-term solution, we opted to get air scrubbers. Now think about this mold removal process for the entire Landmark Center. It is in worse shape than the kitchen and the cafeteria. I think people are thinking about this building in an emotional response attached to their childhood memories, rather than in a financial reality of cost. Whenever the Board of Supervisors purchases a property for any project, there is a written process to go through to establish costs, where the funding is coming from, and a timeline. In essence, to see if the county can afford it and it's within the county guidelines. And the Board of Supervisors know that there is a mold problem in the Landmark Center. The Board of Supervisors put the cart before the horse in seeking to purchase the Pocahontas Landmark Center without doing due process of vetting the building for mold, for the cost of that process, and for repair and construction of the roof for the entire building. I think the board will come to see that it's going to be a very costly repair because clearly they haven't done their homework. And I want to say thank you tonight for that motion to reach out to them so you can get the ball going on vetting this building. Thank you very much.
Thank you. David Robinson.
Madam Chair, members of the board, my prayer goes out with the family that lost their child, and I hope and ask that Jesus provides them comfort and peace.
Before you start, can we get name and district
Dave
number?
Robinson.
District.
I'm here tonight from
District.
District 4 as a citizen of Powhatan. My address is 3562
Don't
Old
need
Buckingham Road, Powhatan. Madam Chair, I once sat right there and chaired this board, and I can say common sense is lacking on this board. The vote today restricted representation by school board members from each district, which the citizens elected, and I question the real motives of restricting who attends. What was the real motive? I don't know. Common sense says, why not try to have all members at both boards present, and what does it hurt? I will personally reach out to each Board of Supervisors member and personally ask them to ensure that all members are present at this meeting. This will allow, and I'm going to say this clearly, and please look it up because it's an important point I'm getting ready to make. This will allow generative dialogue. I'm going to say it one more time. Generative dialogue with both boards present, having discussion on what to do with the property. I believe strongly the decision to allow the Board of Supervisors to take over the property and determine how it's to best be used. I heard right here in this room 3 or 4 months ago by a citizen of Powhatan County who says we don't have space for community members and community groups. Mr. Elmore Cook stood right here and said that. That could be used for that in a different function. Additionally, this building is historic to many in this county. If the members on this board can suspend their judgment, and we'll say it one more time, suspend your judgment, by giving the property back to the county, this will be a win-win for both boards. Thank you very much.
Bruce Cook.
Good evening. My name is Bruce Cook, and I'm District 1, I believe. I'm a former teacher, assistant principal, vocational director, and human resources coordinator, 34 years. So usually I come in an official capacity. This is my first time as an unofficial capacity. But it's official in the fact that I'm here from the neighborhood. And I went to the school, and I don't understand. I have questions. As a teacher, we were always taught, when I first started out, I'm kind of up there in age. So when I first started, we shared information. But now the information is so overwhelming that now you have to teach people how to get information and how to ask questions. So I am here with questions for all of you. The process y'all going through is a little rough up here from there. Y'all seem to be bickering and fighting and stuff, but I was glad to see that there's some movement towards trying to make it better. But one of the things I can't understand is an appeal. What does that mean? Are you going to sue was that in the idea to sue the Board of Supervisors? The appeal? I don't know what that meant, but it would have been nice to have that defined. Voter referendum. I don't know if that's still going to come about or not, but so it was pointed out to me that there are a lot of people that aren't in the county that have a stake in this thing that would be willing to maybe put money towards it and things. And how are they going to get a voice in it if it's a referendum? I'm moving fast because my time is going. The next thing, this is a historic building. It's been brought up. I hate to say it so bluntly, but the White High School, the old one, got turned into a great community resource building. Same thing could be for this one. Now, I don't know why it's not. The last thing I'm going to leave you with this is, if this building is not currently housing students and it's not in your future plans for it, I don't know why that you think that that's under your purview. Give it back to the county for them to do something with it. Then we wouldn't be here to have all these arguments that you're pointing out that we're having. I just don't, it doesn't make sense to me. You need to, we just had a presentation on mission and values. And look, I've sat through enough of those meetings and the reframing things and curriculum, the development and things. That's what you need to be focused on, not a building that doesn't have anything to do with, currently have anything to do with students. So at this point, do your jobs, and we'd appreciate your support. Like I said, I think you should give it back to the county. Thank you.
Tammy Daniels.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. I've been here before, Tammy Daniels, District 1, and I'm all against, I think the building should go back to the county. Just a couple of quick points. I'm sorry about the child. I know that that was devastating. I do happen to know a lot of detail on more of the family situation, but neither way, I'm here to talk about something else. In the past 3 years, our county has seen drastic changes from school board, superintendent, teachers, staff. We have had a lot of changes. Some have not been very good. There has been a lot of disruption to our teachers, to the office staff, to the students. And it's regrettable that the students are the ones who are paying the price in all this, because with all the talk of we're going to save Powhatan County schools as if we were in dire straits, that we were failing. In doing my due research, I went back and looked. Our scores were in line with all of the surrounding counties. We were not in crisis. All these extra programs of making kids do extra study during ACT time at the middle school, to do all these extra math programs. They're still doing it this year. The test scores have not shown that great of a jump. So what's the point of putting the children through all this stress? Teachers have spoken out. They have spoken when the superintendent makes her rounds about things that they see as problems. Nothing's being done to correct them. So when do y'all listen to the people? When do you listen to the parents? When do you listen to the teachers? Because it's getting to a point we're losing teachers. Too many. We've lost bus drivers. Our county is seriously understaffed when it comes to teachers. You've got 26 to 30 children in a classroom. That's unacceptable. I mean, come on, that's too much. How is one teacher going to handle that many kids and teach properly? There are a lot of issues going on. But the thing is, nobody's doing anything to fix it. The teachers speak out, but if they speak out too loudly, you know what I'm hearing from them? Because I talk to a lot of teachers. I talk to a lot of school staff. I talk to people in central office. But nobody wants to say that they talk to me, which is really funny. You want to know why? Because they're afraid of retaliation and getting a target on their back. That is unacceptable. I have spoken to Vic, you heard about this before. Last year, I believe. Nothing's happening. Teachers are still afraid to speak out because as soon as they do, administration is on their butt and they are afraid for their jobs. Y'all tell them that they are replaceable. Teachers, you're not. You are not replaceable. Powhatan County needs you, especially those who have been here for years. The students need you. The parents need you.
Thank you.
Do not listen to the school board. I hear you. Reach out. I will speak for you.
Thank you. Elmore Cook. Elmore Cook. Mike Asap.
Good evening, Madam Chair. My name is Mike Asap. I'm from Buckingham Road, Powhatan,
District.
District 4. I just want to offer condolences to the family again and this tough time for the family of the child who died this week, and to all those who knew that person and loved and cared for them. But I stand also with those speaking to save Pocahontas. And I'm going to talk about two things, Pocahontas and another topic. You know, I will, you know, many will continue to speak out to preserve Pocahontas, and I fully support that. The history of our African-American community. I support the efforts to look creatively and collaboratively with the Board of Supervisors to reach a resolution on this matter. On a second note, I want to highlight and spotlight some good news, some good event that happened. Today, while in a virtual meeting with special ed leaders from around the Commonwealth, I heard the director of instruction for the special ed department talk 10 minutes about Powhatan High School special education program, bragging about the great things that have been happening. And she was talking about the meeting with the Community Unite Partnership and sharing accolades about this model transition program to help all Powhatan students become lifelong learners and working, productive citizens, which is what we're all about. The community-based instruction has partnerships with Powhatan businesses, 8 businesses, 8 partners to serve our students, provide internships for students to succeed, learn the work and supported skills for them to be productive citizens. That includes Backpacks of Love, Sodexo, Food Lion, Powhatan Library, Rise and Grind, Herff Jones, Powhatan State Park, and others. But just a great job. I want to congratulate, because I know the leadership happens with the leadership, and Dr. Clayton Prince, also all the efforts that folks are making to make those internships good for our kids. We've seen that happen where kids can be taxpayers instead of a burden on others and learn the independent skills through that. So thank you.
Thank you. Kelly Crockett.
Good evening.
Welcome.
My name is Kelly Crockett. I live in District 5. I don't understand why the majority of the school board has dug their heels in about the county acquiring Pocahontas Landmark Center. The Board of Supervisors wants to handle it. Let them have it and move on. We may have 31,000 residents in Powhatan, but 31,000 residents don't have strong enough opinions on the Landmark Center to attend a meeting, write a representative, or research the Save Pocahontas signs that are popping up all over the county. Use the facts you have. There are community members who want to donate to the preservation of the building. Let them. Allow a committee to form and save what is important to the community. If we put the Board of Supervisors and the school board together, 7 out of 10 board members want to preserve or at least look into protecting the Pocahontas Landmark Center. The other 3 board members should stop making things difficult and agree to transfer the asset to the county. Ms. Smith, you made a comment that this issue was creating a racial divide in the community. I haven't had that thought once. We have people of all different races in support of preserving the Landmark Center. The building's history did not create a racial divide today. What made it about race? Reflect on that.
Harry Marklin?
Harry Markland, District 4. I don't really have a dog in this fight because I've only lived here in Powhatan for 20 years. So I don't have the connection that these folks all have, that heartfelt connection. But what I do have a connection to are my tax dollars. 3 or 4 years ago, I came to this meeting and my son was with me. He was living down on Dorset Road at the time, and his kids went to Powhatan School, and y'all were talking about what to do with this building 3 or 4 years ago. And you had somebody come to tell you then how much it was going to cost to tear the building down. And my son is in the construction industry and had just gotten some estimates on tearing down an abandoned state facility down in the Norfolk, Portsmouth area that was larger than what you're looking at and had all the same problems that this building has. And the price that you all were talking about infuriated him so much that he decided he was going to get up and tell you that was way out of line to tear that building down. Having just told me when we walked through those doors, I'm not getting up and saying anything, Dad, but he was so outraged at the price you were talking about that he got up and said something to you about it. Now, what does that have to do with this? Y'all don't know anything. You don't know how much it's going to cost to tear that building down. For 3 years now, you've done nothing. Where's your engineer report that tells you, is that building salvageable? Is it not salvageable? Just because it has mold in it, that doesn't mean it's not salvageable. What have you been doing for 3 years? What? Talk about poor leadership. And one of you sits there all night long, I've been sitting back there watching, smirking with a smirk on your face. We're paying for y'all. It's terrible what y'all are doing, fighting like this. Remember the last Board of Supervisors? 3 in charge, 2 on the outside looking in, and the 3 in the middle wouldn't budge. And that's what we got here now. Y'all won't even talk sensibly, courteously to each other. It's just not right for Powhatan County.
Jermando Harris. We are at 30 minutes, but we have 2 more speakers. Come on down. Do I have a motion, please, to extend to get these 2 speakers in?
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we extend to get the 2 speakers in.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm not going to be long.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Harris.
Okay. Jermando Harris, 5th District. I want you guys on the board, guys and gals, on the board to look at the tape of your meeting tonight. And each one of you look at your faces when other people are talking, the being condescending and the disrespect and unprofessional look that you have when others are talking. And as someone said earlier, it's unprofessional. It's not a good look for our county. It's unprofessional. You've got to do better. And the thing about the schools here, you guys throwing up everything on the wall, throwing things against the wall to see if it sticks. The simple thing to do is give it back to the county and let them have it. Let them do what they want to do with it. Stop digging your heels in the ground and being stubborn and not giving it back to them because you may have a personal issue with them or something such as that. Be professional and give it back to the county. As Ms. Ward said, it's surplus property. You're not doing anything with it except wanting to tear it down. It's surplus property, give it back to the county and let them do some things with it. Refurbish it with what we need in this county. We need more space for a lot of things. So do the right thing. Get with the county. If you can vote again and get it all, send it back to them, do it. And again, let's be professional. Thank you.
Thank you. Rhonda?
Hi, I'm Randa Jackson, District 1 or 3 or 4 or 5, I'm not even sure. But I do reside in the county. So this is my thoughts. When people talk about emotions and having feelings about things, I didn't even know about the person who passed, that took his life. I don't even want to say passed because that takes away from what happened. I'm emotional about it. I don't know the family, I don't know anything about it, but I'm emotional about it. So when somebody has a connection to something that they've been a part of and to dismiss their emotions about it, it's really disrespectful. And I want to point out that the Confederate flag, I see so much emotion about that. And this person that probably said that probably would be like, oh, it has history. And that's the same thing we're saying. This has history. I'm not saying don't put the Confederate flag up. I don't care. You do whatever you want to do. But what I'm saying is that they both have history. And if you can stand there and say, I should be able to put my Confederate flag up because it's history, then nobody should be able to say that you shouldn't tear down this building because of history and its emotion and all this kind of stuff. So I'm not directing it personally to her. I'm just saying everybody that is saying of that concept, it's emotion. We're human and we are emotional and things matter. And we need to look at it that way. Secondly, when you're talking about putting it on the ballot, whether it's legal or not, and you're talking about, I need to hear everybody's voices, and I know one person mentioned that they've only gotten 2 emails about getting it. I can get at least 500 people to send you all emails. It's about 5 representations of Black churches in here or were in here right now. And all of them, every member of that church is against it being torn down. So, and in an election, if you look at the statistics, you don't get 100% of every voter here. So, and if you look at organizations when it's talking about volunteering, you have about 5 people that do all the work. So here we are with like 5 people in every little group standing up saying, hey, let's figure it out. So now, I don't know if it's arrogance, ignorance, stubbornness, or just, I don't know what it is with you all up here. I know you're educated, so I know it's not ignorance. When you're really, really smart, sometimes arrogance sort of comes out. You don't even mean it in a mean way or anything. You just can't help it because you're just so smart. So we need to, all of us need to look at ourselves in the mirror and figure out, why are we doing this? Why are we voting, hey, you guys are voting one way and the 3 of you are voting another way? You really need to figure it out and come to Jesus moment, I guess.
Thank you. All right, now to the consent agenda.
Madam Chair?
We'll talk about that. Yes.
I move that we adopt the consent agenda as presented. I'm sure everyone has read everything, items A through J.
I'll second.
Is that your motion?
Yes, ma'am.
All right,
I'll second.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Do we get everything in on that? All right. Action items. Policy update.
Let's see, we have several policy updates. This is their second read. It was policy KBR, which was public information and official social media accounts. We had policy EEA, which was student transportation services. Some things were changed. We had IKFD, which was alternative paths to attaining the standard units of credit. That was not coming out. And policy KB, which was our public information program, again, about social media. So that was the second read for those. Did anybody?
One more.
One more? Oh, I missed it. Hang on. KB, oh, KBR. What?
KB-R.
You know, I had this really organized. Where did it go?
Did you say KB-R?
Okay, sorry. I had them pulled up, and so I did them in the order that I had them.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't read from the minutes. Okay.
Did she get them all? All right. I don't want to leave any policy out hanging on the board that we don't vote on.
Okay, no comments, okay?
All right. Any comments, questions, or comments on this action item?
All right. Do you want me to make a motion? No?
Yes,
Okay,
each
can I-
of these items need a motion, a second, and a vote.
Okay, I make a motion that we do the policy update, approve those since they were the second reading.
Do I have a
EEA,
second?
IKFD, KB, and KB-R.
Okay. Do I have a second? Hello? Do I have a
Second.
second? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great. Approval of additional appropriations for FY 2026, Title II, Title III, Title IV. Dr. Tigan.
Yes, Madam Chair and members of the board. Every year, there's additional money that comes for some of our title grants. And so we have gotten an additional $6,667.90 cents. Then it's coming from three different grants. There is $4,317.64 coming to our Title II grant, which really supports professional development and leadership development. There's an additional $177.92 for Title III, which is for our English language learners. And there's an additional $2,172.42 for student support and enrichment, and it supports like STEM and art and technology. And so this is additional money that we're asking for you all to approve so that we can send it over to the Board of Supervisors for their approval.
Madam Chair, I make the motion.
Wait just a minute, Are the two numbers under the Title II federal grant and the additional appropriations, this be added together to get that final score down there?
Yes, ma'am. You'll see on board docs, it has the original allocation, then the additional appropriation that we're talking about tonight, and then it gives what the new total allocation is. But the initial was already allocated, was already approved by the Board of Supervisors, and so it is just the additional amount we're asking, seeking your approval.
That's why when you put those
Yes.
two numbers together, it does not add up to $89,849.64.
Yes,
Okay. That was my question.
yes, ma'am.
I just had to get that straight.
Uh,
I knew that 4 + 2 is not 9.
I make the motion to approve the additional appropriations for Title II, III, and IV.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Approval of a profile of a graduate. And Dr. Stewart.
Again.
Here again.
So in connection to the strategic plan, which was presented earlier, there was previously made a graphic that just was a pictorial representation of the goal we have for graduates from Powhatan County Public Schools, and a very clear picture of the core values that we hold for those students to be instilled in them when they leave us, and also the 5 C's, or the 5 competencies that we hope that they leave us with when they enter the world. And essentially, the old version was not aligned to the new strategic plan. This had been created prior to the 23 to 2030 strategic plan. So the instruction team worked to create, and our innovative coordinator, Michelle Martin, put together a revised version. Sorry, the words are coming very difficult this evening. A revised version to illustrate the actual core values, which are in the blue circle that are outlined in the presentation earlier, and then in the orange circle, the 5 C's, which would include citizen being moved into that orange circle because it is actually aligned to the accreditation standards to which the state is holding us for some of those accreditation things, just to eliminate confusion so that we're all on board. So we're just asking for approval to move forward with the graphic.
Any questions?
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve 13C this evening.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Now on to the approval of the School Board Advisory Committee. Dr. Tiger.
Madam Chair, members of the board, we are fortunate this evening to have additional members of our community wanting to participate in our advisory boards. The first is Claire Fisher, who is interested in the Gifted Advisory Board. She is currently a parent and looking for serving for 2 years. Jennifer Lavamodiere is also interested in being a part of the Gifted Advisory, and she is a parent and staff member. And again, she's also volunteering for 2 years of service. Caitlin Mason is a Title I for Parent Advisory, is what she has indicated interest, and she is a parent, and she is willing to serve for 1 year. And Nasel Oliver has indicated an interest in serving on the Special Education Advisory. He is an interested community member and parent, and he is willing to serve for a year. And then Navon Morgan is also interested in being part of the Special Education Advisory Committee, and he is a community member parent and willing to serve for 1 year. Kim Nalder is interested in serving on the Gifted Advisory for the next 2 years, and she is an interested parent. And last but not least is Dr. Michael Asap, who is interested in serving on the Special Education Advisory Committee. He is a community member, and he is willing to serve for the next year.
Madam Chair.
Thank you for all those who have put in the request, and you're waiting for approval for all those that have already put in your paperwork and have been approved. Do I have a motion, please, for this?
Hang on one second. Are there 2 more members? Shannon McGuire. Do you want me to go over those? Shannon McGuire, she is interested in Title I Parent Advisory. She's an interested parent, signed up for 2 years. And Jamie Hershey, Title I, signed up for Title I Parent Advisory, also a parent, and is willing to serve for 1 year.
All right.
And
Are complete now with our list?
yes, and I will make a motion that we approve the list.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. GoTech grant opportunity. career exploration course at Powhatan Middle School. Dr. Stewart.
This is my last presentation for the evening, out of 4. We have the opportunity to participate in a grant application process that would provide some unique opportunities for our students in middle school to be exposed to and have some experience with various avenues related to STEM, but also that would connect to our high school fields of study in the career and workforce development arena, so they could start to build their skills 6 through 8 before they get to the high school level. I've asked the folks from CCAM who support the GoTech work to give a little quick overview for you all so you can see a little bit about what it looks like, and then we'll give you a little bit of information about what we're thinking about. We're just looking for approval to move forward with the process to pursue and see what we can make happen for our students.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Madam Chairwoman, Dr. Tigan, and school board members, thank you very much. My name is Lauren Sodell. I'm from the Commonwealth Center for Advanced Manufacturing. That's way too long to say, so we just go by CCAM. We're mostly a manufacturing technology research organization. We're located down in Prince George County. We're a not-for-profit. We also have very strong ties to the education community. K-12 divisions throughout our region of the state, as well as 5 public universities are our members. With me tonight is Ms. Courtney Massengill. She's a professional educator, and most importantly right now, she is the training coordinator from the Institute for Advanced Learning and Research, supporting school divisions throughout Central Virginia with the GoTech program. So just a little bit about GoTech. As Dr. Stewart said, this is about creating opportunities for students. We reach down to the middle school level, providing career connections labs so that students, especially those coming from backgrounds that might not necessarily get encouragement and support at home, to explore and pursue high demand and high wage opportunities in STEM and other career fields, that they get those opportunities as early as middle school with hands-on learning opportunities. GoTech has been about creating career connections labs in middle schools. This was started by the Institute for Advanced Learning and Research back in 2017, and it's spreading across the state, and that's why we're here. The organization that I work with has been designated as the in-region coordinating entity for Central Virginia. What that means is that Courtney and the teacher training lab that we have down at our facility in Prince George County is here to support organizations and school divisions across Central Virginia as they choose to embark on creating this opportunity for the students in their regions. So this is just a little bit about the hands-on modules that are available to school divisions. We're currently operating 9 of the modules that you see below at the bottom of the slide here in Region 4. The school divisions have the opportunity to work with our advisory council to select what modules make the most sense for your school division based on the employment opportunities, based on the mix of current and projected employers in your region or in your school division here. This is just a little bit of about who are the current school divisions who are participating. We've got Colonial Heights, we've got Charles City County, we've got Dinwiddie County, Emporia, Greensville, Hopewell. I probably shouldn't have started down this list because I know that I'll forget one. But we've got Petersburg, Prince George County, Surrey, Sussex County, all participating. We have Richmond City is joined with 3 of their 8 middle schools are participating in this. We get a lot of our funding to support this process from Go Virginia. If you're not familiar with Go Virginia, that is an economic development engine that's been working since 2016. Statewide, Go Virginia has kicked more than $10 million into creating these labs across the state. In our region of the state, we've already gotten more than $2 million from Go Virginia to support this process. We also have other private sector and public sector partners that have been leaning into this effort because they recognize the value that it brings to the school divisions in the region. This is a little bit of a statewide view of how much of how broadly this is spread. Currently, there are 73 schools, middle schools, and increasing. It seems almost every month that we're increasing this number. Statewide, more than $26 million worth of funding. And we've got now, to date, program to date, we've had more than 11,000 students participate in GoTech experiences in the modules that you saw on the previous slide. This is a little bit about what you would expect if Powhatan agrees to go forward and to get a grant to pursue a GoTech Career Connections lab in your middle school. We would include, and the grant would cover the kinds of equipment that you see on the screen here. To get an idea of what this costs, depending on the infrastructure of the school, these labs typically cost about $170,000 a piece. We had the opportunity earlier today with Dr. Student and Principal Innes to go through the middle school and see, actually, you have an outstanding middle school in terms of a starting point that would be required for this. We would request that funding in Q4 of this year and into Q1 of next year through Go Virginia. Go Virginia grants will require a 1-to-2 match. The good news is that that match can be in kind, so the money that you're already spending for salary and benefits for a teacher can count toward that match. The money that you may have already spent, and we would need to review this with the school specifically on STEM-related equipment, either at the elementary level, the middle school level, or the high school level, that would provide connectivity for students in these career pathways. That equipment, if it's recently purchased within 12 months, could count toward the in-kind match. The only cash that the school division is asked to outlay, and this can come from any source within the community, could be educational foundation, could be other partners of the school division, could be the Board of Supervisors and the county itself, but the school division is asked to pay an $8,000 fee for the first 2 years of the grant in order to support the work that Courtney is doing. That's part of a Go Virginia requirement from a couple of years ago. And we're frozen here. I am pushing the right button. Okay. We have an advisory council that's made up of members of economic development, higher education, staff, industry, and K-12 that all support this process. We would love it if there were people from your community who could join this. A lot of the people who come to this advisory committee are members of CTE advisory councils from their respective school divisions and join this. And really, that's just some next steps. You've got my contact information, and you've got Courtney's contact information. Courtney is able to answer any of the technical and the nuts and bolts questions of the lab. I can probably answer a little bit more of the programmatic and the grant application questions as you like. And I think you've got one more slide.
Very quickly, an overview of what this would look like. And this opportunity provides 3 levels of work based on experience. So we were thinking, right now tentatively, this is not set in stone, but that 6th grade would be the level 1, 7th would be level 2, 8th would be level 3. And as Lauren was sharing, we can use an existing classroom. We've identified a couple that could be potential, and then trying to use existing staffing allotment. So there really is no additional cost to that extent. And we can continue to support some of the maintenance and things through some of our other grants because it does not conflict with the Go Virginia grant. So that's the thought that we have right now, and we were just asking for approval to be able to move forward with the application process. That is not a guarantee of moving and getting all of that, but that's our hope.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
this is a question for Dr. Stewart. It's from a financial standpoint. Have we researched the total extra funds needed, or would the grants that you just mentioned, Title IV and Perkins, would that cover the total extra expenses needed for this 1 to 2 ratio?
Not so much the Perkins for that part. You mean the $8,000 for 2 years?
Well, that would be my follow-up question. Where do we pull that from? But
That-
if $170,000 for the module is an expense, and there is a, what did you say, 1 to 2?
Match.
So where, and some of these things that we already have would count toward that.
Correct.
Have we calculated what the extra cost would be that's not right now in our financial plan? And what would that be?
Well, for sure, the $8,000 per year for the 2 years, right? So that could be part of the instructional budget in general if we had to, or like Lauren was saying, we could see if we had some partnerships that could help to support and structure that. In terms of the match component, we don't have any finalized numbers because we don't know which of the 9 modules haven't been identified that we would select. I have an idea in my head which ones would make sense, but that's a conversation that's just not my decision to make.
Sure.
But the maintenance and those kinds of things would be, I mean, when we looked at the classroom today, a couple of classrooms, one in particular, it really kind of checked a lot of the boxes that they needed for it to move forward. My understanding is that in some situations, the classrooms have to be greatly modified. Electrical things have to be completed to make sure that it's all up to speed and be able to support the materials. But we saw opportunity for possibly 1, if not 2, to be used that wouldn't need or require a whole lot of modification. So as of right now, I know for sure we have the $8,000 per each year, and that we have the cost of whatever the materials or supplies would be, like the plastic or whatever it is that's in the 3D printers, or the wood, or the whatever it is that they're using, that we would instructionally purchase anyway. But there are opportunities to support some of those things through Title IV.
Sorry. Go ahead. Hi. All of the initial supplies come with the grant. So you get your 3D printer, and then you get boxes of filament put in the 3D printer. Now, years from now, you would have to replace it. That would fall on school board.
Yeah, the budget. I like the investment. I support this. I think we should go through the application phase. It just always comes down to how do we make it work financially. That's why I'm asking these questions. Sounds like we're a little bit ways from actually knowing what those hard and fast numbers are. But I think it's a great opportunity for our students. I'm fully behind it.
We would probably have a clear picture of the numbers before the end of this calendar year, and certainly before any grant application would go forward. The timing of the Go Virginia grants is that the final approval we would expect in mid-June of 2026. The implementation timeframe, once we get approval, is relatively short. So even though the grant would not fully be approved until June of 2026, we would be positioned and ready to go so that you could start utilizing the new classroom at the beginning of the 26-27 school year.
So there's enough turnaround time, Dr. Stewart, to have extra teachers in place and retrofitting rooms and all that can happen between mid-June and mid-August?
Well, as we
Seems
mentioned
very
earlier,
quick.
it does seem quick. These guys have done it a lot.
Sure.
I think 72 times in different places. So, but I mean, I think when we think about the classroom that they select, it would be the one that would be the least, it would need the least amount of change, modification, whatever. And we wouldn't really necessarily need a new teacher. We just need somebody. They provide training to help support the teacher to get up and running, and we're in the process of identifying who that might be, because you want to have somebody that's really excited about it, in order to make sure that it's an exciting experience for the kids to be able to really get into that. So
I think it's great. We always talk about how we need more of this, trades and things of that nature, so I think it's
Courtney
good.
ran 4 training sessions since she started between July, August, and yesterday. She's run 4 training sessions. The reason we have confidence in the short time frame that I mentioned is that we got approval this year on June the 10th for 5 labs, 3 in Richmond City, 1 in Charles City County, 1 in Prince George County, and they've all been able to start up between that June 10th approval date and now. So we know how to do this. And the equipment list and the supply list is kind of a plug and chug. We know what we need to do. We work with the people down in Danville at the IALR in the event that there are new model numbers of 3D printers that come out and kinds of things like that to make sure that each school division is getting the latest and greatest technology.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Ms. Hurt.
I have a question. How does this fit into the current science curriculum? Like, how is this going to be implemented with the current science curriculum?
It's actually sort of in parallel to it. It's more of an elective kind of class, but it's important to note that this class would fill the need for currently, in order to meet accreditation standards around exposure to CTE programs and such in the middle school, we have kind of a bunch of different things that we're using to fulfill that need.
Kind of like a wheel or something, isn't that how it?
Well, yes, we don't have an actual class wheel at present. This would serve as that wheel to make sure that we have that opportunity for students to
So
move.
not every student would be participating in this?
Well, we would like for every student to be rotating through that, because that's
I guess I'm just trying to understand, this is not replacing a science class.
No, this is not
This
replacing.
this is, like I said, when you have various different activities or areas, this would be one component of it. Or do they do this for the whole entire calendar year?
This would be
The whole entire school year, I should say.
They would be working through modules with the machinery that you, whatever we pick, the
Yeah,
9
the
different
3D
functions.
printers, all that.
And my understanding is every module will increase with the experience that the students have to extend their learning that much further. Like, for example, in a welding simulator, they're not
Yeah,
actually welding things.
The
it's just
machine shop,
pretend.
the CDC.
Correct. And then what this would do is the kiddos that are going through the classes, when they find something they really like, hopefully they do. We might have people that don't like any of them, and we get that too. But then when they move to the high school, they would be poised to select those options in the career and workforce development pathway and know that they really have interest in them when they get there, which we see as a big benefit for our
It definitely, I'm
students.
just trying to understand how it's going to fit into a student's schedule.
Yes, it will
And
not
you know
replace-
me, I was a robotics coach, so I'm all about,
Mm-hmm.
physics, chemistry, I'm all for any type of STEM. That's what I'm just trying to understand, knowing the middle school schedule,
Mm-hmm.
how this is going to fit in is the only thing that I'm trying to understand.
It does not replace any
Academic
core
classes.
academic classes, no.
So what would a student have to give up to be able to participate in this? I guess is what I'm trying to understand.
It would fall in the elective,
That's what I'm saying. So the typical elective list,
would include Go Tech or whatever we call the class for
right,
them to
and then the
participate.
other choices they would have would be,
Correct, whatever other electives are
Okay.
available to them.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I was trying to understand. So we can't set it up that it's like, I know some middle schools do that wheel thing, like for one quarter, you get to do this, the next quarter, you sample that, so that everyone can kind of get a little experience and everything. There's really no way, you know what I'm asking?
We have explored another option that is similar to what you're talking about. It does get a little bit tricky to make it work out because teachers are teaching quarter and there's multiple classes of classes, and we've tried to figure that out. And it's a
Right,
little,
I know, I
it's a
can
little
imagine.
dicey. So this would be kind of a little cleaner pathway for students if we can make this work.
So last question. So what's the capacity number for each grade level that could be handled in this?
So we talked today about estimated about the same size as the other classes, about 20 to 25 students
So
max.
25 in each grade level could participate in this?
Per section. So there could be multiple sections of this same opportunity so that more sixth graders would be participating at once, more seventh graders, more eighth graders.
But then what they are currently doing now, we would see loss in those areas. I just trying to, you know what I'm saying? If they're free period, they're elective. If they choose this for the year, then there's other electives that they're not going to be participating in. So that demand would go down in those areas.
By default, I mean, if they're taking a different pathway, yes, but they would, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I think that it's meeting a need for
Oh,
students.
definitely for STEM.
And instead of forcing kids into electives that might not be their preference, it provides just more opportunity for kids
More
to pick
options.
what is their interest level and be better prepared to make decisions when they get into high school as to what pathways they want to take and what areas they might want to focus in.
Well, I'm sure the robotics coach would love it because you need to 3D print parts. So I know from my years of coaching robots, so if the kids can learn it in middle school, it makes life a lot easier in high school.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
You're sure, and we can make on-ramps and off-ramps too. We just have to figure out how this works for our students best.
Madam Chair. Question. From what I'm hearing, I'm very thrilled. I have my youngest son, of course, when he graduated high school, went right into the ATDM program in Danville and did welding. And right after his 4-month program, at the age of 18 and a half, landed a job making $22 an hour. And just recently, they just got promoted to $34 an hour. But I think this is a wonderful opportunity to introduce it even younger in the middle school years. And I also want to make sure that we do not omit our young women. So my son actually is dating someone, and she's a welder as well in our Newport News shipyard. So I would love to be able to see this implemented, that some type of rotation, that all of the students can have an opportunity, because lots of times they don't really know what they want and know what they like until they get in and experience it. So I love the idea of it being like on a rotation wheel, exploratory of some sort, because again, I recall being a student and, well, you got to take a language. Well, I didn't want to learn French. I didn't want to learn Spanish. So I chose Latin. Who does that, right? But sometimes we may not want that elective, that's made available, whereas this is a better option. So I'm very thrilled to see this presentation and to see it unfold for us here as an opportunity for our students.
I think a lot of the whole point of this is to make career opportunities like what we're talking about here approachable for young people, and to give young people who wouldn't have considered career pathways like this the ability to say yes they can and to try it. And in addition to the hands-on aspect of getting to try and break things and things like that, there's also an element of the curricula that come with this that talk about what are the career opportunities that go with it, including what young people can expect to make if they, from an earning standpoint, as they start out in career pathways and like this. And so I think that's all kind of part of the wraparound aspect of making this approachable for all young people.
Yes, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
We need a motion. Yes, we do.
Madam Chair, can I make a motion that we move forward with the grant research? Application, sorry, thank you. I'm past my bedtime. To move forward with this, that I make a motion that we move forward with the grant application.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you again. The awarding of a state security grant. Dr. Tigan.
Yes, Powhatan County Public Schools was fortunate to get one of the school security equipment grants through the Virginia Department of Education. And we received this notification on September 19th, and we were awarded $59,200. And this is specified for Flat Rock Elementary for security, door hardware, and surveillance cameras. This needs to be approved by the school board and the Board of Supervisors, and it does require a local match of $14,800 to be able to accept this grant.
Madam Chair?
And can we ask for questions first?
Well, I am asking a
Oh,
question.
okay.
Is that $14,800 already budgeted in the security budget?
It would be through the carryover funds that we would be using from last year. for the
Okay,
go
okay,
into-
oh, right.
we would be taking
Okay,
it
I just
out.
wanted to know where that was
Yes,
coming
it would be,
from.
it would be, there is funding available
Okay,
for this.
perfect, thank you.
Any other questions? Going once, going twice? All right. I need a motion.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve 13F for the state security grant.
And a second?
Madam Chair, I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Now on to the bus lease resolution.
Yes, I know you all have had an opportunity to read the resolution. Would you like me to read it out loud?
No.
Okay, I just thought I would. And so Powhatan County is requesting that the school board members vote to allow a resolution of the Powhatan County School Board regarding the financing of certain school projects. And I think if the one thing different was that they were allowing the collateral to be the buses, using the equipment.
Is this for the, how many years does this cover? This year, next year?
This is, I
Or
believe, just this year.
Just this year?
Yep.
All right. I need a motion.
Are there any other questions? I
Any other
believe
questions?
We have someone here that could answer those.
Oh. Do you want to come down and speak to the board?
What? I think he's
Well,
from
come down and
the
introduce
board.
yourself anyway.
Or from Davenport. One of the two. He didn't introduce himself.
No matter what you've heard tonight, we don't bite. We may do a lot of things, but we don't
I'm a
bite.
lawyer, neither do I. It's okay.
Okay, good.
I'm T.W. Bruno. I'm with McGuire Woods. We're the bond counsel to the county and prepared this resolution that's in front of you. And the reason that we're here is the county's financial advisor, sent out proposals and asked banks to bid on the financing. And the bid that came back, the one that had the most attractive interest rate and all the rest of it, was not what they were envisioning, but is basically an equipment lease financing. And since some of the equipment's going to be, or vehicles will be owned by the school board, that's why we're here. We weren't anticipating to be here, but if it got the best rate, here we are.
All right, and do board members have any questions for this gentleman? No? All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You ready for a motion?
I'm ready for a motion.
I'll do it. I make a motion that we approve 13G for the bus lease resolution.
Second?
Madam Chair, I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Right, motion carries. Sorry, my cursor just took my agenda. Technical difficulties for a minute, please. All right. Now, non-action items. FY25 School Activity Fund Audit. Dr. Tigan.
Yes, Madam Chair, and members of the board. We did receive our school activity fund audits from FY '25. 4 out of the 5 schools had no findings, which is always great news. Pocahontas Elementary had they had 3 instances where they were cited regarding timely deposits of funds. And they noted that funds were not deposited within the 1 business day that is required. And if it's over $100 that they're keeping. And so they've been recommended for timely deposits of receipts, and then they have agreed with that, the need for that, and they have assessed their processes and have that, they hopefully straight for this year. One instance was cited regarding a journal entry for not having the appropriate approval. And while they have to have the approval of the principal, there was one that did not. It's one of those things where papers stick together, and so they've put in a checks and balances for that as well.
All right. Is that all?
Oh, okay, she's no voting yet.
This is non-action items.
Yeah, right.
Do you want us to wait on you? Do you want us to wait on you?
No. I've read all of this.
Right.
On action, so I'm good. Don't wait for me.
All right. Moving on, then, Dr. Tigan. This is the FY27 draft budget calendar.
Yes, Madam Chair. You will see it attached there. If you have any questions or see any concerns, we'll bring it back next month with any requested edits for final approval.
Any comments or questions on this calendar as you are looking at it right now? Right. Update policy, JECB, first reading. Ms. Wade.
All right, we have before us, policy JECB is the first reading. It's gonna come before the board members again in November for approval. It's about, admission of non-public students for part-time enrollment. It's been modified to add elective courses as an option and removing the BHSL participation. And it will be posted for shareholders' input for 30 days.
Any comments, questions on this?
I think it's a wonderful idea.
Questions, comments?
My comment is I support this. I've homeschooled my children as well, and I feel that this is very important to keep that connectivity with our students in the community.
All righty. Public comment period. Second one. Individuals who signed up during the second public comment? None? Oh, all right, moving right along. Won't bore you with that commentary. School board comments and matters of concern. Mrs. Ward, we'll start with you.
I would first like to express my sincere condolences to the family that has lost a child. We're not sure of what all the details are for that person to have made the decision that they did. Not sure exactly how the school could provide more assistance, and/or the community, churches, family members, neighbors, or friends. I I appreciate the fact that we have, we're doing what we can to reach out to some of these children and youth. And I want to personally extend an invitation if any young person would ever feel of a point of that despair, to please pick up the phone. I'll be there at 3 o'clock in the morning, if necessary, or call authorities to be there for them at 3 o'clock in the morning. What we've experienced tonight amongst many of us as board members and over the last few months, I had requested earlier for us to bring peace amongst us as board members on this particular board. Also to have peace with our other Board of Supervisors here in our community and with the people that we are here to serve. And those are the ones that have elected us and put us into our positions. So as we, a quote that Vicki Hurt and I are sharing a lot together is, "Blessed are the peacemakers." And even though we may or may not agree on particular situations, we can still be respectful. I still greet all of the board members by names, and/or as we are dismissing, I say goodbye, and there are board members that will not even respond back. I hope that we will bring some peace to our hearts so that we can still be civil. I voted no in regards to as it was put, an extension of an olive branch for 2 of the board members to meet with 2 of the Board of Supervisor meeting other members. I truly believe that it should be all of the board members, because that's why we were elected and that's why we have 5 to represent all of the portions of this county and the people that live here. So I would love to see that would include all of the board members. And I also agree with Vicki Hurd in regards to that we all will do everything that we can to be present, to make sure that we are there working together to do the will of the people. I also am very concerned about our students that have become prey to predators. And as I suggested earlier, I would love to see our HR department, along with encouragement and support from our superintendent, to look into pre-employment or psychological tests, not only for employment, but also for our volunteers. We've had issues in the past, and other school divisions do as well, where we have people that volunteer and who are around our students that may or may not be appropriate. So, besides, I just feel that we could maybe do a little more to try and help identify some persons that are not privileged to be around our children and our youth. As far as making decisions in regards to the Landmark Center, I think that the feeling of desperation affects a lot of individuals in this community, and their desperation is to be heard. And I want us to stay in tune and in touch with that we do hear our constituents in this community, and for us to stay focused on the education of our children in this community and our school division, their safety, and as was stated earlier by some of the people of the community, to set good role models And, and I know sometimes we can all get a little distracted. And as one community member mentioned, emotions do play a very important role when it makes decisions. And I would just like for us to be able to have a little more respect and kindness for one another. That's all for my comments.
Taylor.
I have no further comments.
Ms. Wade.
Let me turn that on. I have a couple of things. Let's see, I have giving everybody an update. There's a Code RVA meeting on Thursday, so I look forward to seeing, the things that our students are doing there and learning there. There was this career workforce development meeting last month. We're trying to streamline the committee to make it run really, really smooth. And I want to thank all the participants that come. Dr. Tigan is usually there. So we do have a lot of community participants. I got the opportunity to volunteer at the book fair for the middle school last month. It was so much fun. I was only there for a couple hours, and the kids were kind of not exactly sure what to do with with a book fair at the middle school, but it was nice to see the kids coming in and looking at the books and getting excited about reading, and of course some posters and the other fun things that they always get there. I'm really excited about including the homeschool students. Once that policy is passed, that'll bring a lot of people in the community together. That way they can all reach out and we're kind of one. Farm Day is tomorrow. It's a great event for all of our third graders. Myself and Mrs. Smith are there, not for the schools, but she's there. You're there with the
Farm Bureau.
Farm Bureau, and I'm there with the Master Gardeners. And it's a great thing with the Extension Office to see all the third graders come in, and they have there's usually a cow and, horses and chickens and lots of fun farm things that will get children interested in agriculture and farm living. Yep, that's all I have. Thank you.
Sir. Ms. Hart.
Oh, thank you. As you've heard me say, that my focus is first, obviously student safety, but excellence academic. And I've been doing a lot of research on the new SOL cut scores that we're going to have in 2026. I'll make a little side note, I'm not crazy about SOLs, but it's a fact of life that we have to deal with. And make sure that parents at home understand that the VDOE has approved tougher cut scores in math and English, and they were trying to align the state test with national benchmarks because they want to close, so they said, the honesty gap. The intent is for students will be better prepared for real-world processes. Cut scores, this increase in cut scores, a cut score means passing over 4 years. No school will lose accreditation. And luckily, God bless the current seniors, they're exempt from this. And so that's good news to hear. So I don't want parents to get upset. This is my big concern with the teacher. If maybe there's something happens, their child didn't pass an SOL in the future, that this is a gradual change that has to take place. We don't have any choice, is my understanding, obviously. So I hope parents and teachers, and I hope teachers won't feel horribly stressed over this because it can be, I'm sure, very scary. Because I'm so focused on academics, that's why I really want to put the PLC issue, the vacant buildings, to bed, to rest. I'm not interested in real estate. I'm interested in the academics of our children. I understand, Dr. Prince put it out that this is October is Disability Awareness Month, and I was really excited that our high school has such a recognition. I have a family member that is challenged, and he happens to be 56 years old now, and I think that had it been that this was this day and age, his life could have been a whole lot different. So that's one big thing that I'll always look at, that I want our kids that have challenges to be all that they possibly can be. So I really appreciate that we focus in on that. And I know I was in the restroom when y'all talked about budget dates, but when we look at a budget, we got to remember a budget is a plan. It's a plan, it's our district's plan on how to support student success. So I hope it's not going to be a battle about, I need this, it should be the focus is what we can do with the money to bring the greatest success for our students. That's incredibly important. They talked, a speaker tonight, it kind of concerned me, talked about Powhatan schools, like about the teachers and the classes are overcrowded, and I wanted to correct that. Powhatan schools have about 649 employees, and we have very small numbers in our classes compared to our surrounding localities. All our schools are below capacity, and I couldn't pull up the exact number tonight, but I believe we have over a 90% retention rate in our teachers each year. So there is not a huge exodus to the door of our teachers. So I want to make sure the public understands that our teachers are staying. We have small classrooms. Our schools are below capacity, and we have 649 employees. So please, if you see this, please let people know that there's not some huge problem with our teachers, that we do have an excellent school system here in Powhatan schools. A former student of Powhatan schools who is working on their their undergraduate and graduate degree has approached, and the student is working on child sexual abuse and grooming training for teachers and faculty and employees in school systems. And I know she's talked to Dr. Tigan and to me, and I hope that's something that we can look at. I think it's really, I know we all know that we're mandatory reporters, but I think a lot of people that I've talked to, some teachers, they don't know exactly, they don't always feel comfortable speaking up because they're afraid that maybe what they saw, they're gonna like charge someone or accuse someone of something that didn't happen. But that's the whole point. A lot of times it is nothing, but it's better that we all have a plan and we're looking carefully, because our children are our greatest gifts, and we certainly, don't want anything to happen. And that's one reason why I'm pushing for the SOQs to change about the background checks and so forth. Anyway, in closing, suicide is a horrible thing. I had to bury my sister 15 years ago from a suicide, and it haunts me all the time. And, it's hard to understand what happens, and nothing pains me more to hear of young people this happening. And, we don't know the situation. We don't know all the dynamics of it, and we should never know that, because that's that family's personal business. And I hope and pray that they can somehow find peace. My heart goes out to them, because I know the horrible hurt you feel when someone very close to you has this happen. I can't imagine it, having it happen, you being a parent. That would be absolutely my worst nightmare. But, I hope that we are readily available and keeping our eyes out for our high school kids, because it's very traumatic, and they like to be cool dudes, and they may not want to show that they're really impacted by it, but deep down in their head, there could be a lot going on. So I'm sure that we have ample people there around the high school watching our kids. So we'll close on that, and thank you.
All right. I hope that, first of all, that our parents are listening carefully to the weekly school messages that are being sent out from the principals, so that you don't miss out on any of the special events going on at their schools during this time. Also, I hope they're also seeing the Facebook post. I know I am enjoying seeing the different student activities going on in each of the schools. Thank you to all the presenters and speakers that came out tonight to this meeting. A special thanks to the GoTech for sharing this opportunity with Powhatan schools, and I hope that we can successfully move forward and incorporate that. Monday afternoon, we had an gifted advisory committee meeting, and we had two special guest speakers. They were two seniors who had come to share their experience with us that they had had over the summer at Governor's Summer School. One was at William and Mary and one at Lynchburg. I was very impressed with these two young men, and I thank them for coming and spending the afternoon with us and sharing their experiences. And they liked it so much, said they'd go back and do it again. So I think that's a very good thing. On a personal note, I do not have any idea what this family is going through, but I know it's horrendous. And I am so sorry for this pain that you are going to be going through and working through and dealing with this situation. Please know that you are in our thoughts and prayers going forward. Thank you. Dr. Tigan.
Thank you. We're going to change up some of my stuff here, but we are going to do the Disability Awareness Month first. As was discussed earlier tonight, it is Disability Awareness Month. And as we recognize Disability Awareness Month this October, I wanted to talk about how PCPS continues to expand opportunities that ensure every student can learn, grow, and thrive. Our adaptive programs are a reflection of this commitment, aligning directly with several of the division's core values from the strategic plan, being academic excellence, inclusivity, and collaboration. As you've maybe seen before at one of our meetings, the adaptive physical PE program is now in its 16th year and provides individualized physical education experiences that promote health, confidence, and most importantly, inclusion for students with disabilities. Building on its success, we have expanded offerings to include adaptive art, and new this year is adaptive music. These programs provide students with access to meaningful, creative, and developmentally appropriate opportunities to express themselves and participate fully alongside their peers. Through collaboration among special education staff, general educators, and related service providers, these programs exemplify Powhatan's strategic priorities by supporting the whole child, promoting innovative learning, and building inclusive communities. And I thank Dr. Prince for her leadership in this area. It is much appreciated. Next, there is a slideshow that's here, but because of time, I'll leave it that you can play it. And I thank Ms. McFarland for all her work in putting it together. This is kind of remembering your joy has been going back and being able to spend a little bit more time in classrooms. And so over the last couple of weeks, I've visited each of our 5 schools at least twice at this point, and being able to interact with students and teachers, and plans to go back where some fantastic teaching and learning was going on in classrooms, that I'll continue to bring you more information about that. I will quickly skim to see if there's other things. I will say, when we think about honoring individuals this past month, I also had the opportunity to go to the Maggie L. Walker Governor's School Regional Board meeting and watch Dr. Taylor as the board chair, for the regional board chair, accept for the first time the Robert C. Lowry Award in honor of Dr. Lowry, who was the director of Maggie Walker, and he passed away in February. And so there are things going on inside our division and outside our division. I also had the privilege of attending the Farm Bureau meeting and enjoyed, quite honestly, a very engaging conversation with Senator Cyphers over dinner, and had a great conversation about education, what it is, what it could be, and looking into the future there. And so with that, I think most of the others we can forgo for tonight so that our people can go home and go to bed. It's been a very short night for some of the people sitting here last night and a very early morning. And I appreciate everyone who was in schools today supporting our students and our faculty. You know, it always, while, you know, sad things happen, and this is the worst of the sad things, it does remind you of how close-knit our school families are as they support each other, watching teachers support teachers, watching students support students, and teachers supporting students and counselors. It's just, they really don't want outsiders. When we talk about wanting to bring support in, it needs to be there. It is within that family that all the support that they need for right then and there is provided. And so I thank all of our staff who was there today for our kids, and our kids who were there for our staff and each other. It's been a hard, long day. And so we look forward to being back in the schools tomorrow to see what more we can do to help during this tragic time for this family and for the staff and the entire school community. So go home, get some sleep, tell your loved ones you love them before you go to bed.